We hope that part.
We are recording, you were.
We're good.
You are good.
Switch.
You do have to.
Yes, I got the new one.
You have the.
But I already wrote
Okay.
All right, I'd like to call to order our March 18th park board meeting. And at this time, if we could have a roll call first. It's on there first.
Oh.
Roll call. Lance.
Yeah, Jose Gutierrez,
Present.
Robin Paulson. Present. Jeff Pierce,
Present.
Enrique,
Here.
Kristen Smith. Here.
At this time, if we could ask everybody to please rise. We have to put the pledge of allegiance. Here to the flag of the United States of America. Under God. Mark, did we have any emails that we need to?
No, I think you had one that we mentioned in study session
Yes.
that you guys saw, but that was the only one that we received.
Okay. Just before we start public input, I just want to say thank you to everybody for yesterday at the golf course. That was fantastic. Thank you everybody that put time and effort in to help make that possible. It was a very nice day. And it's, yeah, it was great. Well, they like to pull over.
I mean, I love it so much. I brought.
We're in every month.
At this time, if we have any people who would like to speak, public comments?
Hi, I'm back. Oh, right.
Come on up to the mic here, and that way we get it.
We got you all set up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to follow up on the progress.
You can
with-
state your name and your address, please, for the record.
Oh. Laura Frost, 1640 Tulip Lane, Monster.
That was quiet, I'm sorry.
Laura Frost. 1640 Tulip
You
Lane,
could lower it too. You need to adjust it. That's fine.
Laura Frost. Laura Frost, 1640 Tulip Lane, Munster. I'm here to just follow up on fixing the playground equipment at Centennial Park. We actually have a play date already scheduled there next Friday, so we just want to make sure that we're good to go with the kids playing on equipment and everything.
The equipment has been ordered, it's been received, we haven't installed the new stuff yet, but I mean, I would tell you at this time of year, it's always, double check when you go out there, things happen over the winter months, but they'll be installing it. They did just install the Cobblestone Park Playground. They're getting the Briar Creek next, and then they'll be doing that slide out at there, and they have a piece of Stewart Park to do for us as well.
Okay, I guess Cobblestones, is that a private HOA or, and
No.
so I just want to make sure
Yep.
that no one is, okay. Because we just came in to talk about this a long time ago and we've been waiting and, it was kind of like, wait for the winter months to pass. So now we're here and it's kind of been really nice. So I'm just wondering why it's not,
Well, construction for concrete doesn't go well during the winter months. So
but it wasn't a
that's-
bad winter. And what, like, I don't know. From what I understand, construction didn't completely shut down everywhere. Like, things were still happening because it wasn't a bad winter. So I'm just a little irritated because we came in, we talked about this. A lot of people use the park. It's one of the main parks in town. I'm just confused why it wasn't fixed.
Can you remind everyone again, because I don't think they heard which
Oh.
park you're specific.
Centennial.
Okay,
And
I just want to
we,
make sure.
I want to just talk about like, we as a moms group came all the way back in the fall to talk about the equipment being unsafe. And now it's March. So so we will cancel our play date because the last time we checked, we went out there, it was not safe. And like, one of our moms ended up having to put tape over everything. We talked about that, like, I'm not trying to rehash things, that's why but it's a little irritating that the park is. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, Devin and Kristen Rowland, 453 Lucy Lane in Community Estates. So we live in Community Estates, obviously, and we've been talking to a lot of our neighbors about the park location. And unbeknownst to us, it's being proposed at a new location. It didn't really feel like anybody in the community was notified that there was potential change in the location of the park. And originally it was proposed on Andrew Lane and the cul-de-sac, and I think that's where it should remain. The proposed relocation along the Nickty train line doesn't make a lot of sense, in our opinion. From a safety perspective, there's already a freight line that is heavily used. There's Amtrak, and now there's going to be a heavily used South Shore train line. And having it directly next to that does not make a lot of sense. In addition, it's not owned by the town, it's owned by Nickty. So just understanding the timeline of that, the cost that can go into purchasing the land, I don't really understand why it's being relocated. Even on Andrew Lane, there's already a sidewalk that's been run to the site where it was supposed to be proposed in the first place or installed in the first place. So that's really all I have to say. Feel free to let me know if there's been conversations outside of.
It appears there has been.
Yeah, we've got, you showed up.
There was
here.
at the work site, yes,
Yeah.
yeah, sorry.
And you guys will continue to hear us, if not more neighbors, so we'll be here weekly, not only to these meetings, but others, since there's a lot of movement. Without the people who live in the community, being involved. For someone who's been born and raised in Northwest Indiana, my maiden name is Harker, I'm sure many of you knew of my father. It's just disappointing to.
Yeah, this is pretty much unanimous within our
Yeah.
community and we didn't even know about it.
And we're expecting ourselves, so again, we're here to not only to advocate for our own neighborhood, but our future child as well, so, is there any ideas, or, yeah, can you give us any?
How do we-
headway on-
Nothing has been decided as far as putting it by the Nickty train tracks.
Okay,
We do have to look at other proposals, unfortunately, or options,
okay,
and that did come up. So you are right, but nothing has been decided.
okay, and we are very close with Amy Snyder, again, I'm an elected board member, so she's fully involved too. She wants to do the right thing in terms of,
She's on the school board.
thank you for,
It's
yeah,
okay, it's all right,
for the correction, yeah.
no problem.
Again, she lives on our street, so, she has given us guidance of how to go about this in correspondence fairly and not overwhelm any, board members, but it's a very unhappy neighborhood of what just decisions are being made without our involvement.
Can I ask, like, what's your preferred method of collaboration or like getting feedback, like you prefer emails?
Yeah.
What,
Yeah, I think emails are fine. We have an active community group, so feel free to reach out to us if you want to get our contact information, or really Amy, anybody really. There's a lot of active members within the community. I'm on the Munster Chamber of Commerce. So there's a lot of ways to get a hold of us. I'm also in commercial real estate and real estate development. So again, this doesn't make a lot of sense. We have a couple neighbors who are also civil engineers. So, we don't want to, escalate it further, but we just want to figure out a safe place for a park. As mentioned, my wife's expecting, there's a lot of kids in the neighborhood, so I'll leave it at that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
This time, do we have anyone else? You okay?
My name is Zach Boswell. My address is 10204 Grove Court. The topic I'm bringing up today is the discussion about the West Lakes Park building that's being proposed. I'm active in the Munster Soccer Club. And we've been trying to get a building like this built for a long time, so we're really excited to hear the proposal that came forward. We were a little bit discouraged about the idea of what the building is. It looks to us much like mostly for a bathroom and a little bit of storage. We're hoping for more of something that could be used as a building that could bring together a community that's out there. When we walk around, when we go to baseball games and things like that, a lot of the players and teams and families that meet at that park have a place to meet after games, bump into each other. That soccer field in particular, Westlake Park, it's void of any building whatsoever, and people use it very transactional. They'll come to the field, go to their game, and then they go back to the car. Parking also, they use a lot of that church parking lot, so everyone's kind of spread out, but there's nowhere to kind of convene. And so we're not asking for anything extremely dramatic, but we're looking at, is there any way, or is it too late into what the designs of that building are? Because can I walk up to the front and show you guys something? Real quick? Sure. But just conceptually, like what I saw from the last few minutes, like this is kind of the idea of what's being proposed. Bathroom doors, maybe storage in the back, and obviously anything like with an overhang or even something simple with just something where people could convene under. That extension, we're not asking for like a huge, recreational space, but just like a roof, right? So that there's picnic tables there. You could imagine kids after a game, go back to my phone. Kids after a game, like receiving medals. There's also been a lot of talk about having, Southwest Indiana's soccer league has a spring and fall tournament. It's a revenue tournament. There's ways that could be funded if we actually were to host a tournament. We haven't done that in a long time. There's a lot of opportunities for I know there's a lot of travel soccer in the area. People are always looking for fields. You could host tournaments there to help recoup some of those funds. Obviously, there'd be an impact to the playing fields if that were to happen. So the Parks and Recs would probably maintain those fields better if there was a lot of use. So there's impacts that you guys need to discuss, right? But I'm saying those fields in particular, there is no structure there. So if something's going to be built, it would be great if there was an expansion on what that could be, even if it's not anything more than just an overhang, some patio tables and some construction.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yep. Could I ask if the current designs are those set, or if you guys are open for feedback, or what is kind of the timeline on that building being built?
The contract with the architect is being reviewed and will be signed soon, and then we'll be getting into the more specifics about that contract. The project as it's currently designed is estimated to run between $380,000 and $420,000. The board currently has about $390,000 or $396,000 and change from a different project of monies that came to me that have been earmarked for using it for this. So anything beyond that would have to be developed and expanded. And I think that the opportunity, some of the things you've talked about, we did already ask the roof lines to be extended a little bit longer than normally as part of that initial design. But the not any extension of a huge overhang of any sort, something like that. A plaza area, and I think what's happened in the past here in town is a lot of when opportunities like this are there and the league really wants to do this. I think there's an example with the Babe Ruth League where they actually came in and actually did fundraising and added on a concession stand at the ball fields at Community Park, for instance. So that's something that I think the board would be receptive to as well.
So what would be the next steps in confirming kind of if Munster Soccer Club, for example, could raise funds? That would be something what I would email this group, or
you could run that through me, or present
Email you
that.
directly.
Probably the better way to do it is come and present it to the board, if you have a proposal like that. At a future meeting and share that with them, what you're looking for. And I think some of it may not have to happen when the building is constructed. It could be an independent phase, if you will, of development. But I think that what you're also asking, though, I think you'd want a collective effort from, Munster Soccer Club as a group, have your president be here, be the one probably presenting it to us. and making sure that it's in line with what they're, collectively, what the club would want to have happen, would be my assumption. Because I know that in my past conversations, Munster Soccer Club traditionally has not wanted people to stay and hang out longer in the parks. The more people that stick around and play, you wear and tear on the fields, that's additional work that now needs to be fixed. We don't have the revenue from our regular operations to do that type of work, so then that falls back on the club to add seed. And unfortunately, soccer plays the two growing seasons, spring and fall. So the challenges of getting out there to do that additional work sometimes is difficult. But yeah, I would suggest that, bring it to your board, bring a proposal, share that with us and, at a future meeting. It can be sent to me ahead of time. I can,
Yeah, I don't want to
put it on
take
the
up too
agenda.
much of your time, but the document you said that's almost signed, what is the permanence of, what's being signed and what is the permanence of that document? Is that the design of the building itself?
I can say that again.
You said there's a contract and you said it's almost signed,
The professional services agreement with the contract is what's gonna be signed.
which is
To
architectural
hire an
drawing,
architect.
to hire.
To hire the architect. What we have right now is a concept from them.
Okay.
That concept could change. I mean, we had a study session earlier today and there were some ideas about potentially even reducing the amount of washrooms in it, for instance. So that's something that can still.
I would just like to mention too, I've been part of Munster Soccer Club for 15 years. I have 4 kids. I have one that's currently on the high school team as well. I would say having the bathroom at Westlake in general is an amazing gift. We've not had one, and using those porta potties for all these years has been horrendous. So for me, looking at that as a park board member, I'm very excited that we're investing in that aspect. And there is a shelter at Westlakes Park on the other side. I know it's not ideal, but when you pull up to Valpo and you see a big field of absolutely nothing and no shelter, no bathrooms, no nothing, I feel like this is a really positive investment by the Munster Park Board. And I think, like Mark said, having somebody come from one, like Lupe coming here from the soccer club and presenting it, that's the goal. But I do think there has to be some investment from Munster Soccer Club too, because again, Valpo, Chesterton, you're walking into large fields with very little facilities and no formal bathrooms. So even going to that next step of investing in the bathrooms to me is a really big positive for all the kids that use that park.
Thank you.
Zach, just so you know too, our next meeting is April 15th. If you want to present something to Mr. Hanks through an email and then come to me.
And what I would suggest also is, again, the comments today. The park board meets once a month. I think it's very important that there's a communication with the director of Parks and Recreation, because he is the person that's gonna be the mouthpiece of the
Yes.
board.
Yes.
And the more information that he has, he can present it to the board in good time. And also kind of maybe even give you some feedback throughout the time. It's very hard for the park board to be reacting right now and say, okay, we're gonna compromise, we're gonna do this. A lot of times throughout the month before the park board meeting, Mark and the director of parks and even other staff members could say, well, this is why we're doing it this way. There can be interaction. Mark is one of the most approachable department heads we have in town. And I think using that to your advantage, and then that way he can also let the park board know what's going on. I've known Mark for many years. And if there's nothing that he doesn't do, it's getting communication and communicating back and forth. But again, coming to the park board meeting, while it's certainly, I encourage you to do it. It's very hard to get an answer and a decision made with a public input. The public input really needs to start earlier in the process and working through the park staff. So again, I'm not discouraging you for coming here, but again, at the same time, I think the more you can work with Mark, and Mark's going to tell me afterwards, why'd you tell everybody to email me? But again, I think that it does help a lot, and it does help the communication, because it's very hard to react in real time to compromise and decisions and stuff like that. Where the park board really needs to be able to review different things along the way.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Any more public? Next we'll move to administrative matters, approval of park board minutes, February 18th, 2025.
Looked good to me.
Second. Any questions or discussion? Janice, roll call.
Jose,
Approved.
Robin, approved. Dan,
Yes.
Kristen,
Yes.
Scott,
Approved. Next item on the agenda is confirmation of vouchers. This is 25-3A through 25-3D. Anything outstanding, questions, discussion?
I name it. I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers as presented.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Jose.
Approved.
Robin, approved. Dan,
Yes.
Kristen,
Yes.
Approved. Mark, you're up next with your March board report.
Yeah, just gonna highlight a few things out of that report. Parking is parking time of the year, so we've been blasting, trying to get the word out, making sure the residents know to get out there and get online and register their cars for 2025. You can get at it on the Munster website. There's a link right on the homepage, to the direct, website. We've done a postcard, a second one was going out, and then, we put signs, the big digital signs up out of the parking lots. We use the news you can use. We put things on our social media. And we direct emailed from ASTA, who did the parking from last year's list. They got direct emails out to everybody. So hopefully everybody knows to get in there and register. So that's happening. As of the other day, we were over already 5,000 license plates as of through March 12th at the time I typed up that report. The clubhouse next steps, we mentioned a little bit. SEH continues to do work for plan for the demo. We're gonna do a walkthrough out on site with them about the electric to that currently feeds from the building out into the park. And that includes all our site lighting, our irrigation pump where we pull water out of the lake, our Wi-Fi that comes into that, the fiber optics that comes into the building that is sent Wi-Fi to our dog park gates, or some of our other doors that are out there that are on that control system all need to be as part of that process. We need to make sure that that's all incorporated and really taken care of before we can take down anything existing building. So we're working through that with SCH, and then of course with HWC on coming up with their proposals, which we'll consider here later in the meeting. The landfill, the gas to energy generator replacement's been going, it's actually completed. They're waiting for the official commissioning documents to arrive, and then they can commence commissioning the new generator. That should happen here before the end of the month. I mentioned earlier, the playground at Cobblestones Park has been completed. The safety surfacing, actually, they got that done a little bit sooner. The weather helped out to get there for that with a cancellation elsewhere. So they were able to get that one. They're gonna be turning their focus to Briar Creek's playground. And then they still have the slide at Centennial Park to get out to, and the Stewart Park has a hood that needs to be replaced that was under warranty. The community estate subdivision, we've talked about that briefly here. The SEH and I did walk that proposed route of that was earmarked in our master plan that you approved last year, from the south train station to get to the path that's along Superior up by Franciscan Hospital. So they're gonna map that out and draw that for us and overlay that over the different parcels to see who potentially that we'd have to communicate with if that were a route that we were wanting to see completed and put into future use as part of our overall connectivity throughout the community. So recreation side, summer brochure planning's all in full swing. The intern interviews were conducted. We have hired a Steven Hernandez who will be starting with us in May. The School Town had helped us out with some extra advertising through Peach Jar, which is a way to get flyers sent out to all the parents. So our summer job opportunities were able to be sent out, which was a big plus and help for us to continue to do and seek to fill all of our part-time and seasonal opportunities. The summer camp this year is gonna be held at each school. We opened up registration last week at 8:30. Within 30 minutes, we were 95% full. So we fill it up super fast. That continues almost the last few years. That's an ongoing basis for us. Nice full program. Let's see here, I think. That was my main ones that I highlight for you. Yep, and I just also wanted to thank all of you for being able to try and get out to the ribbon cutting yesterday. I think it turned out great. The cooler weather actually helped cut down on the golfers cutting through where we were all standing, so that actually kind of worked out in our favor. That's it for my report. Unless you have any questions on anything.
Any questions?
I don't have to have that.
Are you expecting any significant delta in the amounts of energy we produce for the new generator? Or
We'll
is it
see.
just like maintenance?
We're hoping that this was, the other one needed a substantial rebuild of the whole generator, so that's where this one, it was opportunity to get it replaced. The hope is that this is a smaller engine. The other engine would run about 20 days out of a month because it was so large, it would pull the vacuum out of the hill and it'd have to be turned off to let the gas build back up. This is a little bit of a smaller engine that should pull it more consistently. Now, whether that turns into generating more power for us, time will tell. We're hopeful of that to be the case, but we don't think that it'll have to shut down anymore in the future. I will also mention that the council last night approved some work out onto some of the methane collection pipes that run through the golf course. So you will be seeing that in the next few months where they're going to be, currently there are lines that have broken and are full with water. So the vacuum, the gas won't get through. It's full of water. So they have to dig them up, repipe them, and put that back together. That'll help pull vacuum from more of the northeast corner of the landfill towards the generator again. So hopefully with that connection made, we don't know how long it's been down, but hopefully with that connection and additional more gas pouring into it, hopefully fingers are crossed that it does generate more power and potentially more revenue for us.
Anything else? Thank you, Mark. At this time, we have our town council liaison report, Mr. Gardner.
Mark just took my report. No, I have nothing else to say.
Well, thank you. Item for discussion is the professional services agreement with HWC Engineering. This relates to a conceptual design related to Centennial Park that would replace the existing clubhouse and event center.
Yeah, this is gonna get into more detail about the concept that was already floated and included as part of the master plan last year that we put out, that was part of the overall master plan and surveying process. And this will get into more detail of that, taking into account really a lot more of that was really looked at as probably more of a two-dimensional view of it. This is gonna start to look at it more of a three-dimensional view because of the topography. I think you've all been in the clubhouse. There's a substantial drop. You walk in on the first floor, there's a full floor below that when you walk out, and then there's still even stairs going down to the water's edge. So it's a significant drop in a relatively short area between the parking lot and the water. So that's where that further plan and the refinement of that will come about with this proposal that you have before you.
Anyone have any questions about the proposal?
Yeah, I guess, we just had the working session and I think it was talked about, but will we be responsible for providing input from the previous 5-year comprehensive parks recreation master plan to them, or are they going to review that information and come up with some proposals?
I think the benefit of using HWC since they completed the master plan and Catherine was our main point of contact throughout that whole process. I think that'll naturally occur because of her history of it. And I think that's the benefit of going back to HWC for this project because they have some history with us and awareness of that area. So I think that's really a strong beneficial aspect of being able to use HWC as the engineers for that project.
Make a motion to approve it for a lump sum of $22,500.
Smith, second.
Roll call, Jess.
Jose. Robin, yes. Dan,
Yes.
Kristen,
Yes.
Approved. At this time, we are looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, yes,
I can
please, I'm
interject.
sorry,
No,
I'm
no,
sorry,
that's
I
okay.
apologize. We just talked about this.
Now I apologize. I just wanted to clarify, as I know throughout there's been a couple of emails that have gone back and forth amongst board members. And I just wanted to, reiterate that that can only be for scheduling purposes only. Because you are a public board, everything has to be done in a public session. And there are not bylaws by this board that permit for any type of outside communication or voting in that sense. So if there's any discussion, and obviously just to reiterate, any coordination of more than 3 of you, cannot occur in this setting or any other. So you just need to try and, limit everything to being in a public session. So I apologize. I know everybody's just trying to do some good there, but legally we just need to do it.
Thank you, I appreciate that. So again, we are looking to adjourn. If anybody-
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
if there's no roll call.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for coming tonight too.
Thank you.
What's that?